Hi guys, Dr. Taylor here, and welcome back to our conversations about 2025 and all of the new things that are coming up with this new administration, where they're talking about all of these new health changes that they would like to implement. Robert Kennedy has been a big health advocate for a very long time, which is exciting to see it actually being on a public platform because honestly, it's been kind of introduced a couple of times, like when Michelle Obama tried the school lunches, which was like a royal failure, but like try to make things better. Some of these things have kind of been attempted, but really having conversations about seed oils and food dyes and all of these things has not been on the national floor. So I'm really excited to see that because that's the stuff that I do every day. And it's really hard to make people healthy when the food is and the water and the air are all being poisoned. Like how do we get traction upward? So I really love that Robert Kennedy, politics aside, with all of that, that he's bringing this to the conversation because it does take somebody as big as him with those kinds of resources and money and all of that to be able to have those conversations and really change the narrative because you're talking about huge industries with tons of money that quiet and silence doctors and people all of the time for talking about these kinds of things. So I'm really excited to see what Robert Kennedy is going to do with some of that and where some of those conversations go on a national, people-wide conversation and legally as well, because there's bukus of evidence about all of these things that we're talking about. And maybe like, I don't know, hold the FDA accountable for like why all of these things are okay or not okay in other countries, but are okay here. Like that's really, really the thing that gets me upset. Today, for example, we're going to be talking about food dyes. Now, food dyes are complicated because they have been changing their names recently, like to all sorts of things. And I'll try and provide a image here so you can see that where they recently changed the names to, I don't even know, like crazier things that don't sound like the Red 40 or the Yellow 5 and all of those other ones, right? So it's definitely something that's a national conversation that needs to be had for sure. Now, the thing that upsets me the most is when we look at something like this. This image shows you the ingredients in Fruit Loops that are sold in the US versus Fruit Loops that are sold in Europe. And as you can see, there are very different ingredients in these two boxes that are made by the same company. The difference is they're sold in different places. Now, there's a lot of argument about maybe it's because, it's cheaper and capitalism and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter. The real problem I have with this is the integrity, because it's not that they don't know, right? It's not that they're ignorant to, how to make this not poison. It's that they actively chose to poison us here. The argument that the head of, I believe, Kellogg, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Kellogg. The argument that he made was that they did all of these studies or surveys where they were testing kids, and kids happened to choose the ones that were the most colorful. So those are the ones that we should use to feed our children. But also, like, there's a lot of questions there. First of all, like, why are the kids in charge of choosing this, and where were the parents involved? And second, why was poison even on the list of things that we should put in these things? So that really bothers me. And I don't think that there's an excuse about capitalism or any of those things that can make that okay, because it's clearly not suffering in Europe. So I just can't. When we're looking at these kinds of things and you see all of these different ingredients and literally the difference is how bright it is, and you're going to poison our kids so it can be brighter, like so they can think it's more colorful and cool. I wish I had these boxes in front of me so I could actually show you the different colors of them, but it's harder to get a hold of some of those than you think. So instead, and I didn't have a whole lot of artificial flavored or artificial colored things in my house, but one of the things that recently I noticed that pissed me off a lot was that it's not just in your food, it's in your medicine. Before I get there, artificial dyes, like they have lists of what each one is correlated with, but they've been correlated with this for forever. There's so much evidence showing that the crap in candies, all of the different colors, and in our Fruit Loops and all sorts of things, it is directly tied to mental health disorders, ADHD in children. Like the list is astronomical of things that it's tied to, truly astronomical. And the research is astounding. Like there's so much of it. So it's not like the evidence isn't there that this is a problem. It's definitely available for you in a quick, easy search. My brother growing up had trouble with Red 40, and he would get these really, really bad nightmares and then also headaches and stuff with Red 40 for like a long time. He had to avoid those dyes. I don't know if he still has problems with it, but definitely when he was younger, it was definitely a thing. So that was interesting. But I see it a lot with kids and in adults. I think that we do see them. We just don't recognize it the same way because we don't pay as attention to our own health as we do to our children, but also it's not as clear because it's so muddied with all of the other crap that we've been exposed to that's been accumulating. The thing that pissed me off the most was that it's in our medicine. I remember one time I was looking for guafenicin, and it was recommended to me for like pressure changes, because sometimes when the pressure changes, I get headaches and whatnot. And my mentor, Dr. Bandy in Austin, he told me that for whatever reason, he had found that guafenicin has been helpful in managing pressure-related headaches. Fun tip for you. In some people that have those. So guafenicin is the main ingredient in Mucinex, and I didn't really want all of the other things in Mucinex because as I started reading, Mucinex has food dyes in it to make it that fun grain color. And why would you need a food dye when you're taking something because you're sick? So why would you need poison in it when you're taking it because you're sick? I literally could not understand how they are marketing straight poison to us when you're sick for something as simple as mucus and water balance there. Like that's insane. I mean, and then, that's a whole conversation about how, how a lot of medication is actually straight poison. So we can have that conversation. But as far as food dyes, I was really just appalled to see it in there. And then the next time I saw it, I was really irritated because it's an aloe vera. So you're taking this to put it on raw, burnt skin to soothe it. But to get that fun green yellow color, guess what is in it? So really get it from the plant. Look for it that doesn't have these dyes in it. It's insane. It's everywhere. So the one example that I did have at my house, and I'm not sure why I still have these. I think for a minute, actually, I do know why. At the beginning of the year, I was diagnosed with Giardia, which is a whole fun conversation, like how do we get these rare fun diseases? And my stomach was really, really upset, and I was about to try anything to make it chill out. So I had ordered Tums, which I would never take on a normal basis, but I was struggling. So anyways, I have this entire thing of Tums, and they're all of these crazy colors. Like, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I take off all of these crazy colors, and they smell like sweet tarts. I mean, and sweet tarts are not good for you, for the reference. And it's funny because these don't have like a label in terms of, how much sugar is in them, but it does have sugar on this list. I don't know if you know this, but the order of ingredients on a food label tells you like how much of it is in there, right? So the first couple is primarily what's in it, and then it's followed up by things that are lesser and lesser in it. So like the last one is the least amount in it. So the first thing it has is, of course, the adipic acid. This is their inactive ingredients. I guess I should say that their active ingredient list is the calcium carbonate, right? The antacid. Then it's followed by the adipic acid and cornstarch, which is probably GMO, so that's great, and covered in Roundup. So cool. But then we immediately afterwards, we have FD&C blue #1 lake, FD&C red #40 lake, FD&C yellow #5 lake, FD&C yellow 6 lake, flavors, which is also just a dumping ground for any ingredients that they want to put in there, mineral oil, sodium polyphosphate, and then there's that sucrose, which was the sugar that I was looking at. So they don't necessarily tell you how much is in these things or whatever. So that's a little suspect. But there were like 4 or 5 dyes that I read in there. Like on top of, like the Roundup that it's made out of, all of these other things, like on top of that, the conversation about whether you should even take Tums because it messes up with the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. But like, that's a whole other conversation. But really, why are there dyes in this? Like, that is insane. And it's really upsetting, to me anyway, that you're taking something to make you feel better or taking food to nourish your body, and there's literal poisons in it, and it's and to nourish your children. And their argument, I guess, is so that the children want to eat it because the children like colors. Dumb argument. Don't like it. Don't poison my kids with colorful poison. Like, why is that a thing? In like nature, a lot of those things that are extra colorful are colorful as a warning sign, like, don't eat this. And we're just like, let's do, and we kind of disable that in your mind by making it more colorful and saying it's okay to feed your children or that it's okay to take it in medicine. That kind of disables that warning system in your body. And that's pretty sinister. I don't like it. So as we talk about some of these food dyes, and I want you to realize that they are in everything. They used to be in makeups. A while back, they banned some of the red dyes from makeups. I don't know if they've banned all of them from all the makeups. So I don't think that, like, as I sit here with my makeup stand, I don't think it tells me the ingredients in this green face paint that I have, but I'm sure it's not super great, which is why you only wear it for a few hours when you're doing makeups, right? But anyways, the point that I'm making is, could there be dyes in some of these things that your skin absorbs? Absolutely. The key here is going to be how much you are exposed to it and really trying to eliminate it from your diet, your environment in general, and certainly from your friggin' medicine. Like, with that kind of conversation, I really, really hope that he holds the FDA accountable for these things, because food dyes are appalling. There is a girl on Instagram. Her tag or her handle is called The Food Babe, and she's really amazing. She has spearheaded a lot of taking this to the courts about, against Kellogg and whatnot with these food dyes. She has really been spearheading the legal case that they're in, and she's fantastic. I highly recommend you go follow her and listen to a lot of what she says on these things, because the information she has is astounding. It's appalling. It's an interesting conversation of a place that we're going. And I really, really hope as a doctor going forward that, I'm even going to get emotional. I didn't expect that. I spend a lot of time looking and learning and researching because I'm trying to find answers. And sometimes it's very frustrating and hard and scary to be someone that that people look to for answers with things. And just in my little practice or whatever, and you look around and nothing is safe. You're poisoned on every front. And I think, what can I do? Where can I make a dent? It's not as simple as conversations about eat less, move more, calories in, calories out, any of that. Because our food is so toxic, because the quality of the food is so poor, that by the time it gets to you, it has almost no nutrients, and so your body forces you to eat more to try and get those nutrients. That your body doesn't understand the ingredients in so many of these things. Everything is so poorly raised and whatnot that it's covered in pesticides and has parasites in them and all sorts of things. And it just feels sometimes completely overwhelming. Like, how do you make a dent? How do you help these people when literally everything around you is poison? So seeing people that are bigger than me, that have these platforms and have the money and the resources that they can take these things on is huge. Because even if I was there, I don't know if I know how to, what are the answers where they would ask you, like, okay, well, let's take this out. What's your alternative? How are you going to make this better? How are you going to the business questions of how do you mass produce this differently or whatever. I don't know that I have those answers. Some people that have some of that ability, it's a breath of fresh air. It gives me hope that maybe I can find answers for you, for me, that maybe people can get better. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, and I guess that's the opposite of big pharma and medical mindset, I guess, in general. But I want you to get better to where you don't need me. And I'm not worried about job security. There's plenty of people that need things. And even if we were all good. Then maybe I could take a little vacation and you come see me when you fall or something, which is like a different kind of trauma to your body, right? So I find it really encouraging and I'm excited and so hopeful that some of these things are coming to the forefront. How many of us are taking Tums because we're told this is what you take when your stomach is upset, but it's actually perpetuating a problem and poisoning you at the same time? And I hope and I pray, and I hope you'll pray with me, that we hold accountable these people who are poisoning us for profit. They're poisoning us so then they can sell us the cure, which is not a cure, and it's got poison in it, and it keeps us sick and lifelong customers. They don't do that in Europe because they don't tolerate it. Why are we? I hope that you see these things for what they are and that you take up some of the mantle for yourself too, because we're the only ones who can change these things. And thank God that they are coming up now, because people have never been sicker, have never been having these massive health issues, more diabetic, more obese, more sick, having taking 20 medications a day. Thanks, guys, for listening. I do have more, hopefully, more lighthearted ones coming up, but this one was really important. And just pray with me. Keep your fingers crossed. I think some big things are coming down the line with this, and I really, really hope so. In the meantime, stay tuned. I got a couple more coming that I think are going to be really helpful as far as some of these big conversations that are being had. Thanks, guys.